I go around universities and have challenging conversations, and because that's what is so important to our country, is to find our disagreements respectfully, because when people stop talking, that's when violence happens.
I've never seen someone do this.
Well, it's a growing trend because people like me are facing violence, assaults, the left. Yes, the campus Antifa. I've been stormed out of restaurants. I've been assaulted publicly, multiple death threats.
Okay, so what's your goal in all this?
There's more people that agree with me than some people would actually believe, and they come out of the woodwork when I do stuff like this. We record all of it so that we put it on the internet so people can see these ideas collide. When people stop talking, that's when you get violence. That's when civil war happens, because you start to think the other side is so evil and they lose their humanity. I go around universities and have challenging conversations.
Good morning, Owasso. This is Chad with Owasso Live, and this is the Morning Loop. Charlie Kirk was assassinated yesterday. Around, like 3? It happened around 3 o'clock yesterday. It just started blowing up. My brother texted me, immediately checked all social media, and it was just blowing up all over the place. And of all the people that the left could have, that these people that they chose to assassinate, Charlie Kirk is like the least threatening person you could have assassinated. His harshest take on anything that you could argue is his very hard stance against transgenderism, against, sex operations for kids. That's the most controversial opinion he has. Everything else is literally the standard Republican conservative positioning. Pro-gun, anti-illegal immigration, pro-family, pro-life, pro-gun. There's really nothing that controversial about him other than he goes around to colleges and debates kids about it. Not kids, I should say, because they're adults. If you're in college, you're an adult. You're an adult. You should be rational enough to formulate your own opinions. That's why you're going to college for anyway. But it's a tragic loss of life. Like, this man has affected so many people's lives in a positive way, in an overall positive way. Like, the number of people talking about this kid right now is insane. I've got so much. We'll probably be here over an hour going over all the stuff that I have over Charlie Kirk, because he's just such a stand-up guy. And I started watching Charlie Kirk when I graduated college in 2013. That's when he blew up. Was about 2013 was when he started doing his start. Just started Turning Point USA, going around to college campuses and debating college students. It literally, his career growth was from being inside just like small little classrooms in college campuses to eventually moving on to auditoriums, then the big auditoriums, and then eventually got so big that he'd have to do them outside, where he was killed, unfortunately, outside on the college greens areas, like the commons areas, because they were so massive. I mean, you saw how many people showed up to that event. This guy had a following about him. And again, there's nothing radical about his positions. His positions are the standard Christian conservative positions. There's nothing extremely radical about this guy. You can't find anything that he said other than maybe making fun of some of the college kids that he comes to debate that you could argue as this is hate speech. This man is a criminal. There's nothing out there like that. Which this just proves to me that evil truly exists in the world. Leaving behind a wife and 2 small children, very small children. This is evil. This is pure evil. So we're just going to get right into it right away here. Said this is the reason why. Rick said these responses right here are the reasons why he became so well known so fast, because he goes around and makes people on the left look silly. He made them look stupid, unfortunately.
Yes, What is a woman?
Woman is a social construct that we've agreed upon.
So I want to thank you for proving a great point.
What?
You are why we should eliminate the Department of Education. Thank you very much.
Are you married?
Yes, with 2 beautiful children.
Wow, good for you.
I could tell you're not married.
Yeah.
You're so scared to debate me.
Actually, I'm not scared.
Then debate me anytime, any place.
Honestly, I'm good. I just debated the governor of this state. I don't need to debate you, Parker, okay?
You keep interrupting me. Every time I actually try to... Every time I try to actually explain my point and have a reasonable conversation with you, you cut me off.
You're an English major.
Yeah.
I'm going to give you another chance.
Okay.
What's your favorite Jane Austen novel?
Harry Potter?
My shirt, everybody, my shirt says Charlie Kirk.
Oh,
Clearly
campus.
you're offended.
Actually, I'm not. I find it hilarious. In fact, I'm so important that you have to make a shirt with my name on
offended.
it. It's FBI statistics. It's well known.
FBI statistics? Where can you show me that at? 70% of offenders were African American.
I know you're obviously very anti-trans.
No, I'm pro-reality. You're a teacher.
That is what made him famous right there. Now, granted, most of those kids haven't thought through most of the reasoning that they have in their head. They haven't got through. They've just been told, hey, being mean to people is bad. It's like, well, especially regarding like the trans issue. It's like being mean to people is bad, but also lying is bad too. And again, that's why the trans issue is so pervasive. Is again, not only are you asking, not only are you lying to yourself as a trans person, you're asking all of us to lie on your behalf. And again, that's why that's the most controversial opinion he has. Everything else is just the standard Republican conservative positioning. There was nothing truly controversial about Charlie Kirk other than him going around and doing this. This is what made them hate him, is because he'd go around and make people look silly. He's exposing the left's arguments for what they are. They hold no water. They never have. That's why they go to the institutions and go to the college institutions and the public schools and try to brainwash your children to make them believe the unbelievable. Said Charlie Kirk, them doing this to Charlie Kirk is truly evil. And how the left is reacting to this. Like, we'll get into the manhunt thing first, but there's just so much to go on this. I mean, I can't believe, I'm just so not in the right mind space for this right now. I mean, it's insane. I had a dream about this last night, and it's not going well. Said manhunt underway after conservative activist Charlie Kirk shot dead on Utah campus. What we know: Charlie Kirk, a conservative political and co-founder of Turning Point USA, has been fatally shot at the event in Utah Valley University. The shooter believed to have fired once on a nearby roof in the targeted attack, according to the Utah Department of Public Safety, which leading to the investigation along with the FBI. The manhunt is still underway. 2 people were considered suspects and later released, the department said. There has been no outpouring or condemnations on both sides of the aisle. President Donald Trump described Charlie Kirk's death as a dark day for America and blamed rhetoric on the radical left for causing campus violence, which is true. The left has been saying that the right is fascist and evil and they want to take away your rights. If you convince a generation, which it's been almost 10 years since Donald Trump's first election. If you have brainwashed an entire generation, there's a generation of kids who went to elementary school that are in college now that have under the impression that Donald Trump is Hitler because of the left's radical, aggressive rhetoric. Think about that. There is an entire generation from elementary school to college now that have grown up with how badly CNN and the rest of the mainstream media have been talking about Donald Trump and the right. And you're wondering why we're seeing spikes in political violence. And it's only swinging one direction. It is only swinging one direction. Where is the last time that we've seen somebody on the left getting killed by somebody on the right for politically motivated things that they can't that they can like expose completely. Like none of this, oh, maybe it was like a passion of crime thing, crime of passion thing. The Trumps remade the Republican Party. Kirk embodied the GOP's newfound populist conservatism in the social media age. Trump has credited Kirk with galvanizing and mobilizing the youth vote for him. The manhunt continues for Charlie Kirk shooting suspect. Here's what we know. The shooter who killed the prominent conservative activist Charlie Kirk remains at large, and after what police called a targeted attack on the Utah campus. Only one person is believed to have been involved in the shooting, Utah Governor Spencer Cox, who called Kirk's killing a political assassination. President Donald Trump describes Kirk's death as a dark day for America and blamed the rhetoric. Yep, so it's just all this stuff just repeats. Like I said, that's why I hate these like live feed stuff. Last moments Kirk was shot was answering a question I remember about mass shootings. After he was hit, Kirk was taken to a private vehicle and transported to the Tipapongos Regional Hospital where he died, authorities said. Said Trump's reaction that President Trump expressed his grief and anger about Kirk's killing in a direct-to-camera video Oval Office. Charlie Kirk inspired millions, and tonight all who knew him and loved him are united and shocked in horror. Trump said in a 4-minute video, which I might try to pull that up here in a little bit, see if we can watch a little bit of that. But, yeah. But that's what's going on right now. I've got a whole bunch of like videos from the event that we're going to go through, memes, and just going through random Charlie Kirk videos because he was just so good at what he did. All right. Okay, let's get started here. Oh, yeah. And the mainstream media, how they're reacting to this is absolutely insane and pissing people off, and rightfully so. Goes to show you how far the mainstream media has fallen.
But following up with what was just said, he's been one of the most divisive, especially divisive younger figures in this, who is constantly sort of pushing this sort of hate speech or sort of aimed at certain groups. And I always go back to hateful thoughts lead to hateful words, which then lead to hateful actions.
What a piece of shit. Again, Charlie Kirk has the most standard Republican conservative opinions. There is nothing radical about it. There is hardly any Christian conservative Republican types that are going to be like, yeah, transgender, cool. It's not like that at all.
That's a lot of people, Utah. I'll tell you what.
This is him prepping the crowd right before everything went down.
We're going to be here for a couple hours. Get comfortable. Bring the best libs that Utah has to offer.
Look at how many people are there. Look at how many people he inspires. Said he has revitalized the Christian conservative Republican base on a youthful platform at college campuses where the right had pretty much given up on college campuses at this point, back like 10 years ago, like 10, 11 years ago. It was owned by the left. It was only a place where far left, radical, communist, socialist types came to rally around. And Charlie Kirk completely changed that. It's absolutely crazy. Look at that. I mean, he looks like a rock star. He is a rock star. He is a legend. That's why my thumbnail is there. Like I said, Charlie Kirk, the man, the myth, the legend. He really was. He really was. It's going to be crazy having him not around anymore. I love watching all his little debate videos where he goes to these college campuses. They were some of the greatest content on the internet. Just watching him own these college kids who clearly have never thought through their positions ever in their lives. more of reason why you should just
Yeah,
hate
we're showing,
the
by the
news.
way, our affiliate in Utah and the aftermath of the shooting. You could see people running away pretty quickly, as you would imagine they would do at gunshots. The FBI director, Kash Patel, has weighed in on this. He just tweeted the following: "We're closely monitoring reports of the tragic shooting involving Charlie Kirk at Utah Valley University. Our thoughts are with Charlie, his loved ones, and everyone affected. Agents will be on the scene quickly, and the FBI stands in full support of the ongoing response and the investigation." Charlie Kirk is a divisive figure, polarizing, lightning rod, whatever term you want to use. Why?
Well, he's one of MAGA's most prominent voices online. He hosts a near daily podcast. He opines on almost everything. He's been very closely aligned with the president since his initial run for office in 2015, 2016. And his ties to Trump really elevated his own brand. He was really quite young as an activist when the president launched his initial campaign. And he has kind of ridden along with MAGA since 2016 and built up a massive, massive brand of his own. His group has brought in tons and tons of money.
Again, but that's what the left thinks. They think he's not divisive. Said the left thinks he's divisive because he's a conservative, because he's on the right. He had the most standard Republican talking points. There was nothing truly controversial that Charlie Kirk ever talked about, ever. Like, protect America, have a family, praise God, secure the border, pro-life, pro-gun, all that. That's standard conservatism right there. Standard. But the left sees that as radical because who could believe those things? Because these people are so far left on all these news and media programs now. Sickening stuff. And Elon Musk reposted a Fisher King's post here. It says the left-wing mainstream media, as well as figures like Gavin Newsom claiming Trump plans to be a dictator, has created a climate of hysteria against right-wing figures that could radicalize any number of unstable people to engage in political violence. Pray for Charlie Kirk. Pray Charlie Kirk is okay. And then Elon Musk reposted saying, exactly. Not wrong there. The left has been vamping up the political rhetoric for years about all this stuff. Here's Charlie Kirk being rushed to the hospital right here. Here's that video.
Hey, stop! Stop, folks! Stop! Back up! Hey, stop! Stop, folks! Stop! Back up!
Yeah. We got a lot of videos like this from people seeing the shooter or the supposed shooter on the roof and all that, since we don't really know what's going on. That's why I don't usually like doing breaking news stuff like this, but Charlie Kirk is just too much of an important political figure to not talk about. Again, this was the first guy. They're talking about the first guy they arrested here. That's that George Zinn guy. He's apparently detained for 12 years ago for a bomb threat at the SLC Marathon. But again, he's been released. He's the one that got released. And then this guy was talking about it right here, but this guy just seems a little too all hyped up and gung-ho. Like this guy is just a little strange in my opinion, but this was blowing up on the internet as well.
I think whoever did it was a good shooter, a sharp shooter. It was one shot right directly to the heart, and we need to find out who did this. I think there should be a research completely done that took place hours, maybe a day.
Now again, he was shot in the neck. You can go and watch the video. The video is extremely graphic, especially the close-up ones. The further away ones, not so much, but the close-ups are extremely graphic. Just giving you a heads up. But he was shot in the neck, not in the heart. But if this guy was in the crowd, there's no way that they would have known that. Because they're far away. Again, from far away, it did look like he gets shot. He did get shot in the chest because of you see like the blowback on his shirt, and his shirt just moves, so it looks like he gets hit in the chest.
before anything went on. Who could be there and pull that trigger and do it? And I don't think it was George Zim. He was poor, broke. He maybe was on medication, a little bit loony boon, maybe a perfect person to pick and say that did it, but I don't think he did it at all.
So at this point, but did you see him taken into custody? Did you see him with any kind of thing in his hand, any device in his hand or anything like that?
Yeah, I saw when they actually put the handcuffs behind his back.
Okay.
I followed them.
All right,
when
we're
they
going to go to
took him
Jason
the trooper
Chaffetz.
car.
You know, obviously there's going to be a lot of theories.
I think
because it makes sense they pull away from that because that's a lot of speculation from a guy just who has one vantage point in the crowd. More people talking about
bang,
it.
which I figured a shot would be a little bit louder, but I just saw it hit him in the chest, and then all of a sudden just tons of blood gushing right out where his heart is, and then he like fell over and slumped down, and everybody got down and was screaming, and then we all ran.
Can you describe just, did he appear to be moving afterward or what?
Not at all. I personally believe he was dead on impact.
Oh my goodness.
Basically,
Yeah. This is also why I hate the news media. Is like they're vultures, man. Just immediately go to a tragic location and just start talking. Now, here's speaking of people that are affected by this. Here's Native Patriot talking about it.
I'm not quite sure how else to tell you guys this, but this definitely feels like the shot heard around the world. For years, conservatives have been saying that they're trying to kill us. They tried character assassination attempts that inevitably failed. They've tried swattings, they've tried doxings that inevitably failed. Now they're resorting to actual assassinations. Now, yeah, they tried it on Trump, and it's not like it's to be expected for someone like Trump, but for someone like Charlie Kirk, who has never advocated for violence, who is a man of God, who wants to see the restoration of this country, who goes out and speaks with people he disagrees with. Who is trying to appeal to the humanity of those who hate him, has now been shot. And based on what I saw, I don't know how he pulls through. I'm praying for him and for his family. But I just want to give you guys a heads up that the world has been on the brink of World War III. And this feels like a crescendo, or at least what'll kick that off. Prepare accordingly. Whatever you need to do to get prepared, start doing it right now. And I mean today. Don't wait. Because this is an event that'll go down in history, where America has a choice on where she's going to go. When we cannot appeal to the other side through speaking, they leave us no choice. Prepare accordingly. Send prayers out for Charlie and his family. He leaves behind a wife and 2 kids. Pray for their safety. God help us all.
Yeah. Yeah. And this just right here getting into the more evil side of things, like, you know, Jezebel. We paid some Etsy witches to curse Charlie Kirk. If the far-right misogynist with a bad haircut wants to villainize independent women, Jezebel is more than happy to be the hag of his nightmares. Again, far-right. Charlie Kirk, pretty much, again, the epitome of, like, conservative positions. And it's far-right. But to a communist, everything, or to a Marxist or communist, everything to the right of you is far right. So, truly evil. All right, here we go. Said, yeah, just how much he affected. Here's
John Solomon's reporting on Just the News that he's passed. Yes, is this what I'm hearing? Yes, can I get it here?
Yes.
Yes. Wow. Right here, Rav, at this moment, guys. Let's go around the horn, Gene. You continue on the horrendous news that Charlie Kirk has passed.
Well, my prayers are for Erica, for her children, for his family. This is beyond devastating, Eric. I've known Charlie, as I said, since he was a child, running around, coming to conservative events.
John Solomon's reporting.
Yep. More stuff about George Zimms, but of course we know that he's been released. He's probably still a person of interest, though. And then here's Trump's tweet about it, or post, truth, whatever it was. The great and even legendary Charlie Kirk is dead. No one understood or had the heart of the youth in the United States of America better than Charlie. He was loved and admired by all, especially me, and now he is no longer with us. Melania and I sympathize. Will go out to his family, his wife Erica, and his family. Charlie, we love you. Yep. And here's our first meme of it for Charlie. 100%. 100%. Then there's how we open the show right there. Ah, yes. Scott Jennings' take on this is absolutely wonderful.
And I'll be honest with you, I am in utter disbelief at this. I sat in this room last summer, the night they shot the president, and now they shot Charlie. And I'm not sure it's safe to be an outspoken conservative walking around in America right now. And there's a lot of people out there who are in absolute shock and are horrified by this. And I don't know what's going to happen other than to tell you that this nation is in desperate need of prayer and some kind of an intervention. Because when you can't, I mean, what was Charlie doing? Making a speech, engaging in rhetoric, having a debate. That's the bedrock of our nation. And now you can't go out in public and engage in speech. It's the opposite of violence. Speech is the opposite. And so I don't know what's going to happen to Charlie. All I can really think about is his poor wife and those two babies. And so I think the best thing any of us can do right now is just pray for his recovery and pray for their comfort, because God help us, we're in a bad place.
And he's not wrong. He is not wrong. Elon was right. Matt Van Swole. If I'm being perfectly honest, I think I'm beginning to lose the will to be tolerant. If tolerance means the end of Western civilization, then we cannot be tolerant. Yeah. If we can't have free speech, all that's left is violence. If we cannot have civilized political discussions, all that's left is violence. I don't want there to only be violence. But the left keeps coming after it. It was Trump, now it's Charlie Kirk. Oh, yes. This has been blowing up on the internet as well. The Democrats boo, shouting no during calling for prayer for Charlie Kirk right after he was shot and killed. And Democrats are booing it. Sickening stuff. Let's check this video out.
What purpose does the gentlelady from Colorado rise? Let's wait a minute. The House will be in order. 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 We will join prayer right after this, okay? What purpose is the gentlelady from Colorado?
Yeah, it's hard to hear because the mics are off on everybody but the speaker at that moment. But you hear it flips on somebody's mic there for like a split second. But it's basically like Lauren Boebert requests a prayer for Charlie Kirk. The Democrats can be heard shouting no. And then Rep. Anna Paulina Luna shouts back, "You all caused this," yelling at the Democrats that are shouting no and kind of booing the prayer. So at some point, you have to ask yourself, the people that aren't willing to respect the death of somebody who never did anything wrong but are willing to, who only just talked and went to college campuses and like had speech with people he disagreed with, they will boo him, shout against him, but they will defend the rights of illegal aliens and criminals that murder, rape, steal, and brutalize other people. They'll defend them. That's why I keep telling you, I do not see how you can vote for a party that defends the rights of people who are evil, who do crime, criminality, murder, and violence, human trafficking against women, children. They'll defend their rights. They'll pray for them. They'll go take knees for them. They'll go protest on their behalf. Charlie Kirk gets killed. What are these people doing? Booing the fact that they don't want to pray for him. Have a moment of silence for him. How can you think that you're on the right side of history at that point? I don't understand. I've never understood this. Charlie Kirk right here, this was his reaction to when they won the election, which he did a lot of legwork for the Trump campaign for that election. So just his reaction right here just sums everything up.
Fox News decides Donald Trump is president of the United States. We've got our republic back, folks.
Let's go.
There it is. Everybody should remember this moment. Look, I'm gonna echo Charlie from earlier. Remember where you were when this happened. Remember where you were when you realized that the Uniparty and all of these, just the establishment, you said it's time to actually participate. And look what you guys have done.
And if anyone deserves to get tears in his eyes, it's Charlie. I think we all agree.
I think Erica was chopping some onions or something in the break room.
No one has worked harder than Charlie for this.
We gotta hear some words here from you, Charlie. You put all this together, my man. Let's hear it.
I am just humbled by God. It's all God. It's all God. God alone. God alone. That's all I say. Decision desk has it. Pennsylvania. It's done. It's beginning.
Awesome. Okay, then the campus. Here's a video from the campus where people were seeing the police like scouting through neighborhoods around and near around the campus.
There are about 6 armed men in the backyard of a home right next to UVU campus. Apparently they are looking for another suspect. Maybe another suspect has not been apprehended, and they're actively searching. I'm at a home that is probably about right next to UVU. So
yes, they're still there. They're huddled together.
Are you talking to Bruce?
With,
they're looking for someone.
We're all at the windows.
Okay. Do we need to let them know that well, there's more of them right there.
I don't know.
Okay.
This is Phil's staff.
Oh my goodness, he's coming right here. Okay.
Yep, and then of course all these cell phone footage of everything that was going on.
Get right
showing
up.
Yeah. You think he'd already be in place?
You would think that. So there's somebody on the roof right there? Just saying. He just ran from over my finger. Well, from over there, ran in, and now he's right there. Just saying, just getting right up.
Yep.
Yeah.
So these guys spotted that guy up there. They thought he was like security or something.
So there's somebody on the roof right there?
But yeah.
Just saying.
Insane. And here you can see him running up there on the roof after the shot. Slow it down. There it is, him running on the roof right there. Crazy stuff. Crazy stuff. Yeah, Alex Jones has 1, 2. Same video, though. Tim Pool's take on it, because Tim Pool and Charlie Kirk were really close.
Charlie was my friend. He was a good guy. He stuck his neck out for me and my team more than I can say anybody else. And it's not like we don't do a lot with TPUSA. And that's what meant so much to me. That for the past several years, I was just texting with the guy, man. They had me on stage. I have done a lot of business in this industry. I have met some of the sleaziest people you can imagine, and Charlie was the best. And I'm not just saying that. He brought us out to his event. He takes care of my crew. He gets us the production that we need, and we don't even ask. He invites me, a guy who I have publicly stated my political disagreements with Charlie Kirk, but the respect I have for his willingness to sit with me, to have conversations with me, to have debates. And I do think we agree on a lot of things, which is why it makes sense. And it's just amazing how accommodating, how easy, how generous. We got to be at his event, something he built. He started as a young man, working harder than anybody I can imagine to build up Turning Point and Turning Point Action and send a message and inspire young people and promote good and peace and morals. And I'm just some guy who complains on the internet. I've traveled around, I've done reporting, but he does the real hard work. He built a real machine that was fixing this country. And it still is. It still is. And I was lucky enough to be able to be a part of his event that he took care of us and my crew. There's a lot that I want to say that I'm not going to say, but I will say that I'll just paraphrase some of these posts. This is not just the assassination of a political leader. They killed our friend. Charlie would come down to your event and he would sit there at that table and you, literally anybody, could come up and he would talk to you. Left, right, up, down, top, down, whatever. I'm still sitting here thinking in the back of my mind, this is not correct. CNN's wrong. They're fake news. And I'm going to get a text in a moment saying, Tim, stop. Charlie's okay.
It's rough stuff. And again, the most conservative guy, just your standard conservative. They just disliked him because he was rallying the kids, the younger generation in college campuses. That's the only reason that they disliked him. That's it. I mean, I can't think of any other reason. I don't think anybody can. Oh boy, got too much stuff pulled up, so we'll try.
Goes away. How would you, if you could be associated with one thing, how would you want to be remembered?
I want to be remembered for courage for my faith. That would be the most important thing. The most important thing is my faith in my life.
how do you want to be remembered?
I mean, if I die?
Everything just goes away. How would you, if you could be associated with one thing, how would you want to be remembered?
I want to be remembered for courage for my faith.
I love that answer. Best tweet right here. Jesus defeated death so that you could live. It's all about Jesus. Him with his family. Man alive. And the left there's people on the left celebrating this poor guy's death. For Charlie, I love that meme.
If they want war, we'll give them war. If they want...
And this is the rhetoric that people on the right, they're just finally lost it. Like, people on the right are getting sick of this stuff. And, like, I don't want to see an escalation in violence, but with this happening, like, I don't see how it doesn't come to violence at some point. Every time Democrats don't get their way, they get dangerous. Yep. 100%. 100%. See if we can't get this to work. So it's just so much. I've got so much stuff pulled up for Charlie. Yes, okay. This is evil. Here is the evil of the left. And again, I don't see how you can be on the left, vote for the same people that these people vote for, cheer on. These are the people that cheered on when Donald Trump got shot, now cheering on that Charlie Kirk was murdered on a college campus for speaking.
There are a lot of people that are like, no matter what side of politics you're on, you should never celebrate something bad happening to someone. I, on the other hand, do cheer when bad things happen to bad people.
Charlie Kirk just got shot.
Well, breaking fucking news, folks. Seems somebody just took a shot at one of the Fantafast's favorite 5-mile-wide mouthpieces, Charles Chucklefuck Kirk.
Evil. Truly demonic. Praising the death of somebody that is just a conservative commentator. If you did not think that true evil existed, there is proof of it right there. Here was the guy, and like people are already saying that maybe they think that he was a distraction, that this guy was in cahoots with him, trying to be a distraction to let the other guy get away. But again, all this is speculation. Nobody knows, but this guy was the guy that they arrested right off the bat.
Was that you? We don't know if it's him or not.
And just look how heated everybody's getting about Charlie Kirk being shot, just them thinking that that was the guy that did it. So this goes to show you how much of an effect Charlie Kirk has had on the world. These people are that riled up that this guy shot him, that they think that this guy shot him. Andy No was making posts about this. Celebratory reactions from liberals, not just the far left, to the shooting on Charlie Kirk on routers. Facebook post about the incident. Said real shot or Trump shot. Sick. That is sick. People are sick people. These are sick people here. I don't even want to read this stuff. It's just so sickening. It's hard not to lose faith in humanity when you see stuff like this. You see the people that truly his life he's affected, and I believe in humanity, but then you see stuff like that and you're just like, my God. Now, this is the reason why right here that people think he's a super divisive figure right here, is because he gets heated, especially when he was younger. This is when he was a lot younger. he gets super heated when people yell at him. And he's getting yelled at in the audience by Sink or Chink Uyghur from the Young Turks because he's yelling because he's debating his nephew, Hassan Piker, and Hassan Piker is not a good debater. He's a terrible debater. Charlie Kirk was whooping him up and down in this, so Sink started yelling at him from the crowd.
Like a capitalist every single day, Shank. I live as a capitalist, okay? I live when I pay. No. What do I do? I get charity every single year. I live like a capitalist.
And then that guy, terrible moderator, but Politico has always favored their left-wing political commentators over the right. Not every single, but most of, like, Steven Crowder was banned from there, like, after his first year. They never allowed him to come back. I'm surprised they allowed Charlie Kirk to come back after this incident. I don't know if he ever did, but most conservative commentators get told not to come to this. So, but that is the reason why they think that he is such a terrible person, because he got heated. He got really heated in his debates when he was younger, which it's hard not to be, full of energy and passion when you're younger. But why is it passion when it's on the left, but on the right it's hate speech or it's hate? It comes from a place of hate. But this is literally what I was just talking about.
All that's in the world, lust of the flesh, lust of the eyes, pride of life. It's not of the Father, it's of the world.
When this desires pass away, but he who does God's will is going to live forever.
Forever.
And I think that sums up Charlie Kirk and helps ground us in place when we see those types of evil responses to his death. And we're not supposed to be of the world. We're supposed to be of the Father. Just here he is, just the man, the myth, the legend, just some of his best answers and questions on his little debate runs that he goes to the college campuses.
I know you don't believe in college, but my question will just prove your point further. I've been in a lot of classes where I've been asked to write from a perspective I don't necessarily agree with. For example, writing about how the built environment creates burdens specifically for women and gender minorities, or having to assess what level of racism I am after watching a DEI training YouTube video. I'm concerned that if I challenge these ideas or offer a different viewpoint, I'll be graded unfairly. What advice do you have to students who feel pressured to conform to progressive ideologies in the classroom to protect their GPA?
Yeah, let me ask, how many of you guys feel as if you were to take a conservative position, you would be graded downward in your class? Look around. I don't know, maybe A&M needs got to get some work to do. Geez, that's not good. I personally...
Just going to pause it real quick. That speaks to how left-wing colleges are. The fact that kids feel like they're going to be graded down by their liberal college professor because they might espouse a view that the liberal professor disagrees with. In which they probably would. We've seen how petty liberal professors can be. We've seen just not even liberal professors, liberal teachers at high schools and elementary schools, at a kid that brings in a MAGA hat or something. Get out of my classroom. Get that hat off in my class. You don't think that a teacher wouldn't grade you down a little bit if you turned in a paper that was espouting pro-life views versus pro-choice views? Or not pro-choice, it's pro-abortion views. Yeah, I think they totally would. I think that's completely fair. Let's just hear his answer, because he has a great answer in response to this.
Look, there is something to be said about writing about an opinion that you don't agree with. It actually pushes your intellectual abilities. But to have it make it your own, or if you get downgraded when you say to the teacher, hey, I'd much prefer, let's say it's abortion, I'd much rather write pro-life than pro-choice, then I would not be able to personally do that. I don't think you should ever attribute something to your own name that you don't believe in. Even if you get downgraded, I think that lying is way worse than getting a bad grade, because it actually impacts your soul and your character and it deteriorates who you are. It's not going to matter 10 years from now, all the grades you get in college. It will matter the type of person that you are. It will matter the decisions that you make, and every decision that you make ends up being an embodiment of who you are as a person. So
Thank you. Yes,
hope
so
that helps.
Can you sign my hat?
Yes, thank you.
I know you don't believe in college.
Great answer. Great answer. Now, this one I just pulled up. They're not talking about Charlie Kirk, but this is the rhetoric. They said this isn't the first time we've heard left-wingers talk about this type of rhetoric. Check this out. Uh-oh. Golly, I hate that you always have to hit the volume on this.
More of that coming up. You know, especially.
Democrats, are you going to take responsibility for this shooter in Minnesota?
Yep, I absolutely am. And you know what? There's going to be a lot more of that coming up. You know, especially at these religious areas, you know, hey, we've had enough of your kind coming after public schools, right? It's about time, yeah, churches and Catholic schools and religious schools, it's about time they get their turn. That's what I think. That's what I think. I'm just going to sit back and watch people do it. And I'm going to fucking laugh. I'm laughing about yesterday. You guys want to laugh about us? We're going to laugh about you.
Democrats.
There's something wrong with these people. And are we surprised that there's a pride flag in the back behind him? Sickening stuff. Real sickening stuff. Now, like this, I mean, this is his debate tactics.
It's very important
Right
we must then articulate, what does it mean to be a nation? In English, it is the 3 Ps. It is people, it is principles, and it is place. You remove one of the 3, you'll start to disappear. Remove 2 out of 3, you're basically gone. 3 out of 3, you don't exist. So let's play this out. First of which is people. This is the most obvious. If all of a sudden Japan became all Muslim from Saudi Arabia, it wouldn't be Japan. But let's also talk about place. If all of a sudden we took the entire population of Japan and put you on Madagascar, is that Japan? No, it's something else. That's not the place that your ancestors are buried. That's not the place that you love. That's not the place with the shrines that you take seriously. So place really matters. But also principles. And don't forget the principles part. America is a principle nation alongside the other 2. What are the ethics, duty, the culture, and the history? The globalists seek to remove all 3. They don't want you to live in your land anymore. They don't want the people to be there, and they want to change the principles of what it means to be in Japan. If you can articulate those 3 things, we can better then coordinate and harmonize our shared objectives against the globalist. It's place, it's people, and it's principles. It's very important.
I would even argue and take that a step further in saying that if you just bring in, that's what this mass immigration thing is all about. If you just bring in a whole bunch of other people, you change the principles and the history of the people. That's the point. It's like if you just import a bunch of other new people and make the people forget about their principles, you can make them do anything. You can change your country to be whatever you want it to be. And that's the true form of evil, is trying to make you forget about who you are. Especially when it comes to our religious values. And that's the thing, is like, notice that all the best countries in the world come from a Judeo-Christian background. Like the best first world countries in the world, the ones that everyone's like, oh, I would go live there if I could, are all Christian nations. The more Christian a country is, the better it is to live there, it seems. Why is that? I'd say because Christianity has something to do with it. My politics before, don't tread on me. My politics now, the Archangel Gabriel casting the devil into hell, basically. Yeah. This is where we're at, y'all. If you ever feel stupid, just remember that Satan tried to defeat God and couldn't even get through Michael. I love it. I love it. Absolutely love it. Want to tweet from Charlie Kirk? I absolutely love this. This is why I keep telling you. This is a long show because Charlie Kirk just has so many great things to say. Even after he's dead, he still has just so many great things to give us. Assassination culture is spreading on the left. 48% of liberals say it would be at least somewhat justified to murder Elon Musk. 55% said the same about Donald Trump. In California, activists are naming ballot measures after Luigi Mangione. The left is being whipped into a violent frenzy. Any setbacks, whether losing an election, losing a court case, justifies maximal violent response. This is the natural outgrowth of the left wing. Protest culture tolerating violence and mayhem for years on end. The cowardice of local prosecutors and school officials have turned the left into a ticking time bomb. I agree with that. I 100% agree with that. What radicalized you? Me, September 2025. That girl that got stabbed and now Charlie Kirk. They're not wrong. This, especially Charlie Kirk, has really set a lot of people off. That, like, people are talking like what I posted earlier of, like, this means war. Like, you know, you saw the native patriot talking about, like, we need to start preparing. Like, it's going to get scary in the next few years, I think. All right, we got to refresh. It's not wanting to work again. There we go. Okay. And speaking of fighting, you know, how Christianity, the places where Christianity is the best the best nations in the world where Christianity seems to be dominant. There might be something to that with what's going on, how we're becoming less Christian now and how we're becoming more violent. So let's check this out from what these guys posted here.
This is the most overt demonic activity I've ever seen chronicled in the national news. I've never seen anything like it. I'm going to show some disturbing images. This transgender dude, now remember, he's targeting Christian children. Look at the things that are written on the gun clips that he used to kill Christian children. So you got here, for the children. Go to the next one. He wrote on it, "Where is your God?" Okay. Go to the next one. Israel must fall. So we're noticing a pattern here. Okay, this is a person who is feeling not gendered, non-binary, whatever you want to say. Interestingly, in the Bible, guess who is not gendered in the Bible? Angels and demons. They are non-binary. They are gender fluid. They're targeting children. They're targeting Christians. They're targeting the land and the lineage of the Lord. Well, this is starting to sound a little creepy. I wonder what's going on here. Go to the next one and look at what this dude was using for target practice. It's literally a picture of the crucified Lord. Now let's go a layer deeper because it gets a little creepier. This is the next one, is this drawing that he had in his notebook of him looking in a mirror with a demon looking back in the mirror, and then there's all this writing, and this is a translation of the writing, and the translation is, who, when will this end? So you have a tortured person, an oppressed person. Help me. I don't want to. Help. And then what's the demon say back? Kill yourself. Kill. Listen, bro, sometimes the greatest argument for the existence of God and the truth of Christianity is the very obvious existence of demons. That's that right there. It's literally like somebody opened the Bible and went, what do demons do? And then they did that thing. So every Christian should see this stuff and we should go, hey man, I know exactly what that is. The book of Ephesians says, our battle is not against flesh and blood, but against principalities and powers and spiritual forces of evil in the heavenly realms. And then it says, but greater is he that is in you than he that is in the world. This is the most overt.
Yep. Sick stuff. Did I forget what? I forget what movie it was. Is that Exorcist movie with Kurt Russell? Like, it's not the best movie in the world, but like he's talking about evil. He's like, if our duty is to fight evil, And if you're saying that evil doesn't exist, then you're saying that God doesn't exist, because God exists to fight evil. So it was just, I forget, I butchered it really bad right there. I forget what it was, but like I said, that's why the movie wasn't the best movie in the world, so it's hard to remember a quote from a movie that's not that good.
Explain to everyone out here what Jesus stood for, and especially the qualities of love, how to love your neighbor even if they don't agree with you.
So what is your name again?
Talise.
Talise, that's a beautiful question. I'm glad you came up to ask it. So John 8, if I'm drawing from memory correctly, best embodies both Christ's mercy and love, but also his commitment to truth. And sometimes in the modern gospel, we overemphasize the grace and we underemphasize the truth.
Yeah.
And so we are far too willing to say, hey, Jesus loves everybody, but we don't get to the second part of the conversation that says Jesus doesn't want you to live in sin. So this is, in John 8, it's best embodied, right? Almost every Christian in this audience will be able to tell you the first part of this, which is a bunch of Sadducees and Pharisees who are standing around with rocks, and they're about to stone the prostitute woman. And Jesus comes up and says, let the first among you without sin cast the first stone. And everyone starts dropping the rocks. But what comes next shows that Christ is not just grace-focused, he's simultaneously truth-focused. He goes up to the woman who had a career in selling herself for sex and said, sin no more. Now, imagine today how much trouble you would get in if you would go up to somebody and say, stop sinning. Oh, you're being too judgmental. No, you're actually being Christ-like. So Jesus stood, he was 100% grace and truth. And that tension is very hard in a modern world, because we want to overemphasize grace when in reality Christ loves us too much to have us continue to live in sin. He wants us to try to elevate our actions to glorify God in all that we do.
Please explain.
See, there's not much I can say about the guy that he can't say for himself. Just a great guy. Just a great overall guy.
Epidemic of transgender mass shootings. And it makes me sick for many reasons, but to think about the idea that Charlie is doing this tour, why? Because he wants to have a respectful dialogue with people who don't agree with him. That's the entire intention. That's why he sits there and he invites people up to the mic. He doesn't have to have a mic there. He doesn't have to invite people with opposing opinions up there. The literal intention behind all of this is to have a civil debate, regardless of your opinion. And apparently, in this country, you can't have a differing opinion from the woke radical ideology without someone attempting to fucking kill you. The reports that I saw were that Charlie was in the middle of talking about
Well, I could give you the technical answer. There's never been an archaeological discovery that has contradicted. Jesus saved my life. I'm a sinner, gave my life to Christ, most important decision I ever made.
So you believe the Bible is real?
Yes, I believe the Bible is true and real. Yeah.
Why is that?
Well, I could give you the technical answer. There's never been an archaeological discovery that has contradicted the truth of the Bible. And then, of course, the wisdom. There is not a truth of the Bible that if you apply to your life does not improve dramatically. And then finally, we have the most accurate and transparent, historically robust account that one can have of the most important figure ever to live in the history of the world, Jesus of Nazareth. And the resurrection is the pinpoint of my belief that Jesus did rise from the grave so that we may live.
What makes Christian mythology real?
So that's not mythology, but that is theology. If Genesis 1:1 and the resurrection is true, anything in the Bible is possible. You're looking at the greatest miracle. The greatest miracle is creation. And then the fact that Jesus rose from the dead. And I say, how do you know that Jesus rose from the dead? Well, show me another historical piece of a story where so many people willingly died a brutal death for a lie. Every single person around him had everything to lose, and yet they went to the absolute death, from Paul to Peter to the half-brother of James, saying that Jesus is Lord, Jesus rose from the dead. Not to mention, if you were going to fake a story, you would not use female witnesses in the ancient world. In the scriptures, it said that the women were the first one to see Jesus Christ. If you're trying to fake a story, you would never do that. Jesus saved my life. I'm a sinner, gave my life to Christ.
100%. 100%. I said he says it. He says it the best. He's just good at what he does.
At the core of the left, at the core of a liberal, is someone that would use the sword if they had it. They are very violent people at their core. They always have been. They can't debate. They can't have conversation. So they'll resort to these tactics. They're going to do everything they possibly can to try to murder this movement because they can't beat us. So they're going to try to take weapons. And no, we're very aware of that. I'm aware of it. We have to have full-time security. This is not a joke. This is who these people are. At the core of the left, at the core.
You know, if Christians acted more like Jesus, everybody would love you. They crucified Jesus. People hate people that tell the truth. People try to destroy people that tell the truth and do the right thing because it makes them look bad. That's really what it is. That's literally what it comes down to. Just saw that one.
From me as a life fighting for truth. Before I go on a college campus, my prayer is very simple. God, use me for your will. Amen. Because there's a plan above us all. God is sovereign above all. So what is God's plan when I go on a college campus? I just believe I will only tell truth. I will not compromise. And I'll...
Jesus defeated death so you could live. This is the last thing that Charlie Kirk was talking about before he died. And I just think that it's super, super relevant. So I'll make sure I get it all from the start here.
1 Corinthians 5 and 15. So that's all pretty amazing evidence, not just intra-biblical evidence, but extra-biblical evidence that Jesus Christ was a real person. He lived a perfect life. He was crucified, died, and rose on the third day, and he is Lord and God over all. 1 Corinthians 5 and 15. So that's all.
That's a good message to go out on. If there was a message to go out on, that would be it. Let's do this last one here, and then we'll play us out.
I'm just flesh and bone. Your relationship with the truth. I'm just flesh and bone.
Pray for Charlie Kirk. Pray for his family. That was the best way that I think I could have ended the show right there. But this is Chad with Owasso Live. This was the Morning Loop. Be sure to like, share, and subscribe so you too can stay in the loop. But pray for America. You know, love your family. Tell the truth. Be a better person. Because I don't think there's very many people that were better than Charlie Kirk at this point. Like, he was just a great person. And the world is a lesser place without him being around. And I'm going to play us out with a little video that someone put together of him and his family. So our thoughts and prayers are with them. I'll catch you all in the next one. I won't have a show tomorrow. I've got drill this weekend, so I'll be gone tomorrow. But next week, we'll get back into it. I'll see y'all on the next one. God bless you, everybody.